Welcome to Weeping Willow Homestead and another What We Eat for Dinner in a Week. In these videos, I show you what, at this point, mostly what my kids are eating because my husband and I are both on specialized diets for health, weight loss, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just kind of showing what they eat. And I show you how I make these meals combining inexpensive Aldi groceries with food that we are blessed with from the food pantry. And hopefully they are well-balanced, well-rounded meals. This week is going to be a little interesting. Last Friday, so like a week and some days ago, no, Saturday, my youngest two came down with hand, foot, and mouth disease, which, if you know what it is, it's a virus, kind of like a cold virus, very similar to a cold virus, but it causes you to get sores on your hands and feet and inside your mouth. And sometimes that you also get it on other parts of your body. So like my little two have them on hands, knees, elbows, feet, mouth, on their little bums, all that kind of stuff. So that's part of why I haven't filmed in the last week plus, is that just kind of hit our house like a ton of bricks. So I was concentrating on, luckily my youngest 5-year-old did not get mouth sores, but the 7-year-old did. And so I was focusing on trying to make things for him that were soft. So I made some homemade jelly and pudding or Jello and pudding and just different things like that. And was kind of tailoring meals just like on the side for him. Like if he wanted to just have soft food, I could make meal for everybody else. So they were 7 days in, and I was thinking, okay, all of the big kids have dodged it, which is fairly common. It's way more prevalent in young children. And I thought we had dodged it. Well, on this Friday, we discovered spots on the 3 oldest kids, and I even have a few spots, not a whole lot, but so unfortunately my oldest daughter doesn't have a whole lot, and I don't have a whole lot. I just have like a few spots on my hands and a few spots on my feet, but then the 2 oldest boys have a fair number in their mouths. So because of that, and because the 7-year-old still has some spots in his mouth that are healing, I have been making hopefully softer meals. The older 2 aren't having as much of an issue as the 7-year-old was. But even still, we're trying to avoid things that require a lot of chewing, that are hard or crunchy in any way. No spicy, no acidic. So with that in mind, that's how this week is going to kind of play out on what meals we're going to end up having. So tonight I made chicken pot pie, which I have not made in forever. This is something that I absolutely love. I've always loved chicken pot pie. But I will see if I can find a link to the recipe that I used, because it's from an old website that I have had stuff off of for probably at least 15 years, called Hillbilly Housewife. And I'll see if I can't find the recipe and post it. If I can't, I might try to type it up. It's a big one. It's for their creamed chicken, and you can do a bunch of different stuff with it. So, and this is just store-bought pie dough that I picked up from the grocery store. And I just kind of figured this would be something that even the dough isn't super rough on mouth. And then if they wanted to, they could just eat the filling. And then my 5-year-old was helping me make it, so we had to make little pie dough hearts out of it. So, all right, that is a long-winded way of saying this week's going to be another interesting one, just like last week. So never a dull moment. Anyway, thank you. We will see you tomorrow. All right, it is Tuesday evening, and hopefully you can hear me over the sausages crackling away over there. I spent a good majority of this afternoon out in the garden pulling weeds. So I needed a quick and easy meal. Generally, at the beginning, before, like when we have just gone to the grocery store, I meal plan out and write them in on like every day what's going to be what. For the last week or two of the 3+ weeks before we go to the grocery store again, I just make a list of the meals on my planner and get out all of the meat and thaw, and then I just wing it on whatever we have, whichever day. And that works out because then, like today, I'm tired, my feet hurt, and I have sores on my feet, so they hurt worse. So, yeah, I wanted a quick and easy meal for tonight. So that's tonight. So we have smoked sausage that I had cut up and just put a bag in the freezer to have for later. This is homemade mac and cheese. We got the noodles from the food pantry. Cooked those until they were done and then drained them in a colander. In the pan, I melted some butter, mixed in some flour, did a combination of cheddar, mozzarella, and Swiss cheese just because that's what I had on hand. And then a good little tip, whenever you make mac and cheese, add in a teaspoon to a tablespoon of mustard. Any kind of mustard you like. If you like spicy brown or whatever, just regular yellow mustard. It just kind of cuts the richness of the cheese with that acid and helps it kind of not be quite so heavy and give it a little bit better flavor. That's my take on it. And then a can of peas. No, this is not the most well-rounded meal, but once again, it's all mostly things that are soft and easy to chew, and even these are easy to chew. I will say both of the big boys and, well, all three of the boys. I didn't really think about that. The boys were the ones that got the mouth sores worse. My oldest daughter does have a few, but the three boys were the ones that got the mouth sores. Interesting. Wonder if there's some science behind that. But they have all improved greatly today on their mouths not hurting nearly as bad. So hopefully that's on the uptick. I have noticed most of my spots are starting to heal. The two little ones are almost completely healed. Like they just kind of have little, can I say scabs without grossing people out? Spots on their knees. So knees and elbows and whatnot. So we're headed in the right direction, y'all. Anyway. All right. That is a Tuesday night. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. This will probably be the last night that we will need to do anything soft food wise because all of the boys and girl that had sores in their mouths are pretty well eating normal food now. So yeah, I think we're probably on the official mend. Everybody's sores are all drying up and whatnot, so trying not to gross you guys out here. So tonight, the kids are having Chinese food, which is a favorite in our house. So this is, like 3 packs of ramen noodles that I just cooked to package-ish directions, some steamed broccoli, and then, some breaded chicken, that I just like toss in a mixture of flour and cornstarch because that kind of gets a nice crispy-ish texture to it. And that's how we put it in the bowls. Noodles without broth on it, the broccoli, and then the chicken on top. And then sometimes we will use the Aldi sweet and sour sauce. I had just a little bit left in the jar, so I went ahead and made some. This is a super easy recipe. I will post this in the show notes. Because you probably have everything on hand or could get it really cheap. Like all the ingredients are cheap. It's sugar and white vinegar, soy sauce, and you can do low sodium, ketchup. Like it's all super easy. So yeah, it's quite good. It tastes very, very, very similar to the store-bought stuff. It's a little darker because of it being homemade, and I used darker ketchup. But the kids all like it and said it was comparable to the Aldi stuff. So if I get it from Aldi and have it on hand, that's how I do it, just because it's a nice convenience. But if I can make it at home because I'm out, then I do. So, all right, that is Wednesday night. Yeah, it's Wednesday. Sorry. We just got done having some gnarly storms too, so luckily the power didn't go out while I was making dinner. But anyway, that is Wednesday night, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, it is Thursday night, and if you are new here, this is not normally Thursday food. This is Friday food. We have something going on tomorrow that I am not going to be able to make pizza for. So knowing that I'm not going to have that time. So, I asked the kids if we could just not do pizza this week, and they all unanimously said, we're doing pizza. So we're doing it on Thursday night instead. So pizza at our house is almost always homemade pizza. It's never takeout because we live too far out in the country for takeout to be delivered. And I can make a whole lot of pizzas whether that's like partly store-bought or frozen or completely homemade like tonight's, for a lot cheaper and a lot faster than ordering from in town. So tonight there's actually 2 cheese pizzas, and yes, we had already started dipping up and I forgot I needed to film. 2 cheese pizzas, a pepperoni pizza, and then a barbecue chicken pizza, using up some leftover rotisserie chicken that I emergency had my husband pick up last Saturday for dinner, because yeah, everybody was feeling yuck. So, and then I just threw together a fruit salad with whatever fruits, both fresh, frozen, and canned, that we had on hand. So that is Thursday night's Friday looking dinner. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, a fairly quick and easy dinner for tonight. We have our scrambled eggs, and my husband is home, so that's why there's a lot there, because all of us are eating. At this point, we're close to 12.5 eggs when all of us have scrambled eggs. Woo! Then there is stewed apples or fried apples, depending on who you ask. This is something that my grandma used to make a lot when I was a kid. They owned a farm and had farm help during the summer, and she would feed the farm help lunch, and this was something that I remember her making a lot because it was an inexpensive side dish, so, and comfort food. And then we also have bacon, and I know you're gonna go, what? You guys have a bacon? How can you afford that? This is a discount grocery store near us called Save-A-Lot. I think they're nationwide, but there's one fairly close to us. They sell boxes of what's called economy bacon, and it's between $20 and $25 for a 10-pound box. So like about $2 a pound, which is cheap for bacon. And some of it's thin cut, some of it's thick cut, some of it's short pieces, some of it's long pieces, some of it's little teeny pieces. It's kind of you have no idea what you're going to get when you open the box kind of thing. And so every once in a while we will buy a box of it, and I just freeze it in bags. And I kind of sort through it and try to put like all the thick cut in a bag, all the thin cut in a bag, and bits and pieces, because then I can cook like the bits and pieces for bacon bits in something, that kind of thing. So that's how we afford that. And it's still a splurge. I probably only buy that box once or twice a year, give or take. Just kind of depends on what's in the budget and how often they put that sale on. So, but yeah, like I said, quick and easy. Except for that bacon, it took a little while, but I was also doing other things while it was cooking. So that is Friday night's dinner. Woo, see, I'm all kinds of mixed up. All day I have thought it was Saturday because we had pizza last night. So that is Friday night's dinner. We'll see you tomorrow. It is Saturday night, and Saturday night I usually make a big meal so that we have plenty of leftovers, and I'll explain why here in a minute. So tonight this is a family pack of chicken thighs that we got from the food pantry, and I just baked these with some like herb seasoning stuff on top, salt, that kind of thing, nothing major. I bake them for a long time, at least a couple of hours at 375. That makes them fall apart, juicy, the skin is crispy, all of that yumminess. So yay. We got these from the food pantry a while back. Sweet potato toast. We're not going to use them as that, I don't think. This is almost 2 packs. There was a little bit left out of one. They look neat, like a neat concept of how to top them and that kind of thing. We're just probably going to like cut them up and maybe drizzle some honey and butter on them. That sounds good. I just salted them and baked them per package directions. But yeah, neat concept, something different. And everybody in our house likes sweet potatoes, so. And then a package of green beans from the freezer that were from our garden last year. We still have 10, 12 packages, I think, something around there, 14 maybe. So we're getting those used. I still have quite a few canned because the canned kind of got put away, stashed away, since we've had that work going on in the back room for close to a year now, y'all. As we've been able to afford to get it done. So we're eking in closer on it being done. And being able to actually put like the canning shelf back up. Right now all of my canned goods are in boxes stashed in various places. So we're getting there. I dig into them when I can. But I just took these out of the freezer, put them in here frozen, put in some water and steamed them until they were done. I pulled the lid off, let all the water evaporate off, And then I added in some dried minced onion, powdered garlic, salt, and let that cook until all of the water was cooked off. And then I sauteed just a little garlic in the middle, turned the heat off and stirred it in, and everybody in my family once again likes that. We also have a loaf of bread that I baked yesterday, so we'll do some like bread and jam or bread and butter or whatever anybody wants. So all right, so if you are new here, that is the end of our week of meals. I take Saturday or Sundays off. So the way that looks is when we get home from church tomorrow, we usually don't get home until like 1:30, 2 o'clock, because we like to hang out and chit chat for a while. And when we get home, while the kids are changing out of their church clothes, I pull out all of the leftovers from the week. So anything leftovers wise that we have, I pull it out. And that's part of why I make a big meal on Saturdays, is to make sure that we have leftovers. And then the kids pick and choose whatever they want. If they want chicken and a hot dog, fine. If they want nothing but vegetables, fine. If they want carbs and one protein, fine. It is about getting the leftovers used and filling bellies. So then tomorrow for dinner, I pull out charcuterie board things. So think dried fruits, cured meats, cheese, pickles, crackers, chips, chocolate, like anything that you would normally see on a charcuterie board. I pull those kind of things out, which we are very getting toward the end of not having been to the grocery store in like 3 weeks. So we are kind of scrimping on whatever we have left. But we still make it work. The kids don't complain about it, just having more dried fruit. Yeah, that makes it where on Sundays I don't have to cook except for just helping with breakfast for kids. So it allows me a day off, which I usually need, especially after the last couple of weeks. We are going to go to church tomorrow. All of the kids' spots are completely healed, like healed over, that kind of thing. We no longer have nobody has like fever or anything like that. So I think we are past the contagious stage. I will be keeping my little ones out of children's church. They'll just sit with me during church just as an extra precaution. But yeah, that's my spiel. So all right, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I will post any relevant recipes in the show notes. I am a wing it, figure it out as I go, lots of experience. I mean, I've been cooking since I was 13, so a lot of experience just in cooking from scratch and making things work. So a lot of my food is I just know how to make it at this point, or at least I'll try something and see if it works. But if there's something that I made that I don't have a recipe for, just ask, and I'd be happy to write out a little bit better how to make it. So all right. Thank you so much for watching this, going along on this journey of healing from hopefully what will be the one time that we ever have this in our household. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day. Goodbye and God bless.